Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I just read Godblight by Guy Haley and it's surprisingly good. Godblight continues the Dark Imperium storyline. Typhus has bugged off to do his own thing, but Morty and Kugoth are still very much preoccupied with trying to corrupt and conquer Ultramar. Specifically, Kugoth is trying to create a magical toxin known as the Godblight in order to obliterate Guilliman. His death or corruption would then be the catalyst that would suck Ultramar into Nurgle's garden. Naturally, Bobby G and his Ultra Smurfs try to stop him from doing this and set out to take back IX from the hands of the Death Guard. All the while, Mathieu and his religious horde of zealots keeps on escalating further, and Rodriguez also does some trolling on Macrogg. Of course, if you want to read how all of this ends, then you'll have to pick up the book for yourself. When compared to its predecessor, Plague War, it is very nice that Godblight is a lot more dialogue heavy. There's a lot less bolter porn in this book and a lot more stuff actually happens. I think this book successfully managed to tread the fine line between having too much side plots as we saw in Dark Imperium, or having almost nothing interesting going on as we saw in Plague War. Sure, it is still in essence a novel about the Plague Wars, but there is also some character development, for characters such as Felix, Guilliman, Mathieu and Justinian. We furthermore see some cool politics between the Nurgle demons, and we learn about the fragile alliance between G-Man and the Eldar. That of course all topped off by the recurring themes of the Emperor's godhood and Guilliman's personal dilemmas. In this regard, I also really like how Haley wrote the dialogue in this book. He very noticeably adjusts his word choice and sentence structure based on which faction the character is from. For an example, Nurglite demons may speak in puns, rhymes or riddles, while Eldar sound a bit like an even more talkative form of Ben Shapiro. Marines by comparison sound brutish and uncultured, which is completely offset by the overly complex and scientific language of the Adeptus Mechanicus. This didn't always work perfectly, and especially Guilliman's dialogue would sometimes be a bit clunky because of it, but yeah, altogether I really like the way Haley voiced each character. Every faction felt a lot more distinct because of it, and it made the book a lot more immersive. Another big plus of the book is the ending. Every separate plotline we follow throughout the trilogy is wrapped up, and often they also flow together in a nicely joined conclusion. This book may have a lot of named characters, and thus you would expect the conflict to just fizzle out as usual. Instead, we see some very big lore developments, and you might be a bit shocked at how far Haley was allowed to go here. But most of all, the main ending was just really badass. The ending of Felix's story was very wholesome, and the ending of Rodriguez's story was very entertaining. So altogether, good stuff there. That being said, this book does have one issue, and that is that it really drags in the middle. The initial setup is intriguing, as we see some discussions between G-Man and the Eldar, some politics and such. The ending too was super cool with a lot of lore reveals and dialogue. In the middle, however, it is just a lot of fighting over a piece of mud. Sure, some of the side stories do continue, but it could have done without all the shooting into unkillable Poxwalker bits. But I do want to highlight the improved world building for the Nurglites here. In Plague War this was still relatively tame, and we saw a lot of things that we had already seen countless times in other books. Here however Haley introduces some more creatures and gives us some more glimpses into the Garden of Nurgle. He creates a nice balance between the hauntingly disgusting bits, such as a massive rotting multiplying rat monster, and funny parts such as waving beasts of Nurgle or flavorful Nurglings. Maybe Haley could help design the next Nurgle models, cause it seems like he has some very nice ideas. So altogether, I'm going to give Godblight 4 out of 5 disgusting rat creatures. Godblight features some excellent world building and is basically a must read in terms of lore. The character arcs are very well done, and the faction specific dialogue was some of the best I've read in Warhammer. The only thing that really prevents me from giving it a perfect score is just the tedious bolter porn in the middle. But yeah, definitely a recommendation for Ultramarine and Nurgle fans, as well as a mandatory read for Modern 40K I suppose. Anyways, that's all I got for you today.
If you liked this video, please consider subscribing and click ringing the bell to appease the Great Horned Rat. For more lore content, please check my main channel and leave any book recommendations in the comments down below. I gotta get back to reading the next book.